Hey, 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 sound check, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? What's up? What's up? How's the sound? We are going live with director and rapper Rhyan LaMarr. Rhyan made the film Canal Street, and he also dropped the amazing single Relief the other day with No Big Deal, John Gives, Chris Noel, Jack Red, Byron Jawan, Cannon. All right, let's see. Ryan's in. Here we go. For Ryan, there he is. Here he comes.
What's going on, man?
Yo, 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 yo. What's up?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm hoping, as a lot of people are experiencing, that my daughter doesn't come crashing into this interview at some point, which I guess would be entertaining for everybody else watching, but for me, it would make me really upset.
Why would she do that, man?
She just loves interviews. That's why.
Okay, got you.
She'll just
I love the background, man. I'm always looking at your background, bro.
Yeah, let me move out of the way. So, yeah, everyone's gonna get an exclusive. I have a Sonic the Hedgehog cereal. I got a WWE Championship belt, a Mets pillow. I guess I'll pick the tripod up. There's a painting of the Brooklyn Bridge that my wife did. We got some pop characters. Got Andy Chavez making the greatest playoff catch ever for the Mets. We got some little guys here. We got Lecrae on a Shane book, Back to the Future thing. Yeah, we got some swag. This for a makeshift studio in my house during quarantine.
That's what's up.
I gotta make sure.
You have to forgive me, man. I'm at the crib, man, and after a certain time, black people start to disappear. The light, all my natural light is gone, but it's all good though, bro.
I'm kind of yellow in this room. Yeah, I was trying to make it look good because you're a director, so I wanted to give you my best. Give you my best.
And I'm the director with bad lighting.
so we'll be even. So everybody who's tuning in and who's going to tune in later, this is Rhyan LaMarr, director, writer, producer, now a rapper. You're doing a lot of things. So I guess you don't. I guess you know yourself better than anybody else. So give everybody a little rundown.
I think God knows me better than me, but yeah,
maybe.
Right. Yeah, right.
Give everyone the rundown.
I'm an artist, man. At the end of the day, I'm an artist, and sometimes and a storyteller. So sometimes I tell stories through film, but I've been doing music my whole life. I've been doing music longer than I was doing film.
See, I didn't know this.
It's crazy because people people know you as how you were introduced to the world.
Right.
No, but my people that know me. I've been doing music since third grade. So that's been my thing for a minute. But when I moved to LA, I had to I was focusing on film and TV.
Right.
But every year, I probably got hard drives of records, man.
Nice. See, when I interviewed you months ago, you did not mention one thing about music. It was all about film. And then all of a sudden I see you dropping singles and I'm like, wait a second. Who is this guy? This is a totally different Ryan.
But man, that's because you were interviewing me about film, man. And I never, I've never been the one to be like, all right, I'm going to talk about this while this, because that's not what we were doing. You know what I mean? We were there to talk about Canal Street, and I was trying to make sure that my actors, the film, everybody was just getting what that was. And I've been patient my whole life, man. I've been patient and just been waiting for the right opportunity for God to allow me to be like, all right, cool, you can go out now. You can get off the bench and go play and make this a part of your ministry. Right. So I just been chilling, man.
Do you have albums or records out, or is now you're legit go at it?
I got stuff that ain't nobody ever gonna hear,
okay.
out right now under another name, before.
Okay.
But this is like my first go at it. You know, when I first came to Christ in 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was when like y'all were popping, like West Coast Fire was popping, like all these websites were putting out like Christian music, right? Of Christian like CHH artists. I was getting introduced to them, you know, and I was I'm listening to like Bizzle and Not by Sight and Transparent and Lecrae and all these artists, and
Right.
I didn't have a voice yet, you know what I mean, on this side. You know, I felt like, what was I going to talk about? I remember hearing a Bizzle record and I was like, man, there's no way I could put any of my any of my lyrics into that because I don't know what to talk about, you know. And so I was a student and I just studied and just fellowshipped, and a lot of the artists that y'all pushed loved on me and discipled me, and I just learned, you know what I mean, and it started to kind of pick my, you know, get my voice and get my confidence and on this lane, you know, and then just started making music, man.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. And I mean, I guess we should just talk about, since we're on that tip, that you just released the Relief single, and that single is crazy. And I have the names in front of me. It's No Big Deal, John Gibbs, Cannon, Byron Jawan, Chris Noel, Jack Red. How did you manage this track? How did you put this track together, get all these features, and like you're really coming into the music part of this strong. Like you established the film thing, and they're like, all right, now watch this.
Mm-hmm. You know, I approach everything. I've always kind of been I was saying this in an earlier interview, like I always kind of approached things like as a curator, whether it's music or film or whatever it is, just finding the right ingredients to put things together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, if you look at Canal Street, it's got all these cast members in it, you know, but it's about finding like the right chemistry, the right sound, or the right performance, or the right musicians. And so that's how I approached Relief. You know, I'm really big on different sounds. You know, I don't really vibe with everybody sounding the same. I like unique sounds, you know, and so, you know, I approached them with the idea of putting together just like an ensemble of just like great artists, you know, and then just continuing that vibe, and they all jumped down on it, you know. I mean, and I had been kind of fellowshipping with them for a minute anyway, you know, and so everybody kind of had the same reaction, like, yo, you gonna do music? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do some music. I'm gonna have some fun. And like Mod and Jack and Jack Red, like they just believed in the vision enough to go along with me, because the song is 5 minutes and 18 seconds, right?
Right.
It's a long song. And so for all standards, people normally are like, that song's too long. It's got to be 3 minutes and 27 seconds, whatever, you know, people are not going to want to listen to it. But for me, I'm like, why don't we just make music and just have fun and stay away from all the rules, and let's just go create something. And that's how Relief came about, just creating something and vibing out. And that's where it came together.
And then the song gets even longer in the video because you have that speaking part up front.
6:18.
Yep. So when you approached everybody about the song, did you give them a theme, or you kind of just let them do their thing?
It was simple. It was, what have you let go of? You know, what gave you, you know, what did God relieve you of? You know, and even in the hook, like Byron wrote that hook, and everybody's struggle is different.
Right.
So just talk about your struggle. Everybody's life's different, you know, and not only do we sound different, but we've also been through different things. And so it's all going to sound different, but look what God can do, you know, if you let him. And that's what Relief. Listen, everybody's lyrics are all talking about something completely different, but it's all kind of what, you know, what they've been struggling with.
No, I get that. Now, going into the music video, I would think that most artists don't direct their own music video.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they kind of have, you know, kind of a vision of what it's going to look like, and they can storyboard it. But like you as a filmmaker have this whole, like you see all these things in your head that other people don't. So what was it like kind of directing your own musical vision from beginning to end?
It was interesting because well, the two other music videos I've done, it's been the same, but not that many artists on set.
Right. This
It's
is
just like
a
me
lot
and
of
like,
personalities.
you know, but then I just had to tap back into working with on film. I deal with even more actors, you know what I mean? Even more stuff like that. So,
Right, right.
you know, the crew I work with is the same crew I shoot films with. So we already kind of have a chemistry and kind of like a
Yeah.
conversation. So I had to kind of just like, it was more on me to make sure I was getting the right performance. And like, we got some behind the scenes are dropping. I'm yelling out stuff to them as I'm like rapping, as I'm like in it, just to, you know what I mean? And looking at the camera, but it just became a dance, and I know they was kind of looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, I'm like, all right, get in, get in, get in. And then we be vibing, but it worked out, man. And I just had to trust it, and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And we shot that video in 4 hours. So
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy because there's so many different artists and you have the people dancing in the background and you have some cameos. I saw John Keith. I think there was a few others.
yeah.
And then to capture everything you need, in 4 hours is pretty crazy.
You know what though, man? You got to kind of look at it like it's a conveyor belt. Just like, all right, like it was like I just went in order.
You went
So
in
it's like,
order.
all right, cool,
Yeah.
cannons up, 3 shots close, 3 shots wide, move on, gives, move on, deal. All right, deal, you're gonna sit in the car, you're gonna come out, wrap around here, like, and then the artists already know how to do what they do. Like, I
Right.
don't gotta tell Dill to do what Dill does. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm just gonna tell you, start here and come here, and then you're gonna get that. We're gonna make it work. And I approach music the same way. You
Yeah.
gotta. It's
Yeah.
more being like a captain and just putting things together and then letting people, shine in what they do.
So how difficult was it, or maybe it wasn't, but to get all of these artists in the same place at one time?
You know what? I thought it was gonna be harder than
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be hard, but I just kind of we were in a group chat. I said, "When's everybody free?" And they said the day, and I was like, "All right, let's shoot the video." We flew them out to LA. We shot, one day. They flew back the next day, and that's what it was, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I think when you see it, you think it's like a lot was involved in it, but I've learned like this season for me has just been about simplicity.
Right. When
You
did
know,
you film it?
we filmed it in, I want to say like February.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
if you filmed during quarantine, which probably isn't advised, no one would have had anything on their schedule, so it probably would have been even easier.
Right. No, it's crazy because look, we shot that in like February, and then right after that, I went to go do DJ Standout's video,
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
be there, and then right after that, everything shut down. But I've always been big on like preparation, so
Hmm.
like I made sure that like majority of my videos are already shot for the album months ago.
Right.
Just because I like to just get that stuff out the way. But man, I'm so glad we shot that video when we did.
Yeah. Yeah. You just made it,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Right.
So you have these two sides to you. Do you go kind of in season with a different one? Like right now I'm doing a movie and this is all about the movie and music gets put back there. And then when I'm done with that, then I could do music and this gets everything until I'm done with that. And then it goes to a movie. Or do you go back and forth?
What's crazy is that whenever I'm doing movies, so I'm kind of weird with it. So I'll have like a headphone. I'll have two different types of headphones, and
Yeah.
I'll have my headset so I can listen to the actor, and then I'll have my other kind of wireless in my ear because I'm always listening to music as I'm directing.
It's interesting.
Because if you think of it, a lot of movies you see they have a lot of the soundtrack, the score, all that, but it just helps me see the scenes a little bit better. And I do a lot of music when I'm directing, and then a lot of the music you hear in the movies, I'm working on as well. So I never really leave music, but it's always there with me. But I'm not like work. I like as soon as we finished Canal Street, I started working actually on this album that's coming out.
Okay.
You know, and so we've been working on the album for like 2 years.
Yeah, I kind of, I mean, and from your explanation, I kind of see how they go hand in hand together. Like, you know, you plot out that movie, you go scene by scene, whether you shoot it in order or out of order, at the end it's going to tell a cohesive story, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of, for a lot of artists, a musical project. It's putting the songs in different places that tells the story the best way.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flip side, you said you're listening to music while you're directing. So it's like you're scoring it and you're coming up with, okay, this scene maybe needs this in the background. So you're literally just, you know, one hand feeding the other at all times, which I think is
Absolutely.
really cool.
It's just, you know, there's a song we got on the album called "Stay Down," and it was like actually the first song that we started working on for the album, and it's also in Canal Street, you know. But like that came from Fern. Like Fern was shout out to Fern, man.
Shout
He
out Fern.
actually sparked this album because if anybody like is, you know, you cool Fern, so you know Fern will send stuff every now and then. He'll send his like, you know, he'll
every
send
day
stuff he's working on every day, right?
every
He's killing
day.
it.
Here's a
I'll be like, yo, I just
freestyle.
woke up and I just sent this freestyle. I'm like, man, you make me want to go retire. But he sent this one and I was just vibing with it. And I was like, what you doing with it? He was like, nothing. It's just a freestyle. And I was like, can I use it? That song turned into Getting Twisted, Brad, you know, like, and then Marty jumped on it and it was just like, this sounds dope. Let's try another one. Then, you know, and I reached out to Ty Brownsville and 1K Few, like, and Aaron Cole, and then it was like, all right, cool, let's try another one. And it just kept on like creating music. And then before we knew it, we had a whole album, you know, and this album was about, you know, look, I love what Dayton just did. That's the homie, you know, and him unifying, you know, and that's the same thing that we were working on. And God gave a lot of people that vision, you know, and that's all we were doing is just creating something to unite the kingdom at the end of the day and creating a lot of music, you know, and just been having fun with it, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. And again, I just want to say about Fern, it's funny. Like, if you want to get inspired, just go follow Fern on Instagram or become friends with him so you can get his freestyle text every day. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, he told me, he's like, yeah, I'm up at 4:30 a.m. every day and I just start writing. And it's like, that work ethic is crazy because for him to send you like a verse or a freestyle every day, like he's just up writing and writing. And then when you ask him, like, what are you doing with this? I'm just practicing.
Just practicing.
Just practicing.
The freestyle he sent stayed, that's his verse.
Yeah.
And it's raw.
Yeah, I was like, are you doing anything with it? He said, yeah, I'm just practicing. So rappers or creative people who are listening, I'm not saying you have to get up at 4:30 in the morning because it's probably when I'm going to sleep usually. But when you wake up, like, you just got to get going. Swayze, I wouldn't be able to write anything at 4 in the morning, period.
No.
Yeah.
You know what?
I feel that.
Not 4. Might write a script at 4.
4 in the afternoon would be better. So all this music is coming together for A Perfect Mess, your album, which is dropping on May 29th. So you kind of explained that community behind it, but sonically and thematically, what can we expect from it?
Big and cinematic, man. That I can't help but to be big. Like, if you heard Relief and you liked Relief,
yeah,
a lot of big records like that. It's
nice.
It's really hard for us to, like, we'll start with something that's really small, right? And then I'll be like, man, we should really get some strings, man. Let's go holler at the orchestra. Oh, let's go get some live instrumentation. I just love music. Like, I love music. I love real instruments, you know? And so, like, I'm really big on just, like, vibe, like having, like, studio sessions and vibes and just really having fun with the music. And then, you know, bringing in the artists and just vibing with it. So we just have fun, man. We didn't really stick to any limitations on time. You know, I wanted to do something different with the sounds. I'm a student, so I've been listening to what's going on, you know, and loving everybody. There's such a resurgence and a renaissance going on right now. And look, man, I'm a '80s baby. You know, I grew up in the '90s, and you know, all I know is what I know. And so we just had a lot of fun with the records. And I feel like, you know, man, we even got R&B. We got R&B on the album,
There
like
you
for
go.
real R&B for the Christian married folks. You know, we definitely got some hip hop heads. We got this really dope record, man. That Eshawn and Jared came on and blessed me with, man. It's
Those some
and
heavy
Bree
hitters.
Smiles, man. It's a banger, man. You know, for the backpackers, you know, and then man, we have gospel songs. It's just a collective, man, of music. You know, it's what I listen to. One thing I learned when making films, man, is make films you want to see. So we created an album that we would listen to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy because it almost sounds like a movie soundtrack because you're dealing with all these different scenes in a movie. You got the highs, you got the lows, you got
Yeah,
a calm section. And most hip hop or a rock album or even gospel, it's boom, 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 boom. Like you stick to a formula, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're hitting all these different things sonically, all these different genres, and you're still telling that story together, that's exactly what you're saying. It's cinematic. So I don't know. I can't wait to hear it. I didn't get a link. I didn't get anything. Um,
I'll send you something, man. I'll send you something so you can listen to it, so you can really, you know, give me your feedback on it. Man, Charlemagne, and Sway even blessed me, man, to curate some of it. You know what I mean? So you'll hear them on there. Just, man, reached out to people that I admire, man, and wanted to do music with, man, and
yeah,
doing life with them anyway, man. So we just had fun and created something.
yeah, dope. Everyone who's tuned in right now, think of some good questions. Think of things that you'd want to ask Ryan. So, speaking of cinematic, you were creating a cinematic universe for
Yeah.
CHH, starting with 1K Few. So, where does that series of videos stand right now?
So, but quiet as it was before all this that happened, man.
Right.
We were taking that to a streaming platform that I can't say on here. But we were gonna turn it into an actual show. It was gonna rival if you remember the show Heroes from back in the day.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it was gonna rival that, and it was gonna be the answer to that. And we had a lot of good looks on it. Still do. Just gotta kind of wait to
See
see
what's
what's going
happening.
on out here.
Yeah.
But the goal is still the goal, which was to turn um, Stay Down in Better Days into an actual Christian cinematic universe, you know, and we're still doing that, bro. Like, it's we just got to kind of wait and see what's going on because at the end of the day, the studios and everything, we're trying to figure out how to make it work, you know, and we're trying
Yeah.
to figure out a lot of the scripts and the stories are going to have to get a little bit smaller, you know, and crew and cast and everything. So when the dust settles, we'll be back in working on that project.
So you have the two that you just mentioned filmed, right? So did you start on the third part or everything was just on pause?
We scripted the third part,
Okay.
you know, and we had the yeses from everybody that was going to be joining that whole thing right there, and then we were actually going to shoot it after like after I finished this project. We were going to try to shoot them all together, like just knock them
Just
out like you would
just
shoot a
finish
film.
it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but that's still the goal. That's still the goal, man. Just got to kind of wait and see what's going on.
So what about speaking of quarantine, what has changed for you as a content creator? Like are there different things that you're doing or are you just kind of playing things by ear, maybe just writing, just preparing? Like are
You
you
know,
thinking of what that future might look like and how things might have to change and
it's funny. I had a conversation with one of my partners today, you know, and you know, even like the agencies, like my agency, we got something where the studios are looking for stories that involve like 2 to 3 characters, and if you're gonna go shoot a movie, you got to go quarantine somewhere in a cabin area crew cast got to stay with each other. You got to shoot it all in. So you got to be creative. It's teaching people, it's showing who's creative and who's relying on money to make things. You know, so it
Sounds
didn't
like
really
you gotta,
switch up a lot for us, man. We're
yeah.
still working on our scripts. We have 3 movies that we're working out right now that we'll be going into production on it this fall. We were supposed to be filming in April, but we're going in winter. So it didn't really change much on us, man. And then with the movies now, you know, all the movies are gonna have soundtracks, man. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to make like a horror movie. You just take a small cast, go in the middle of the woods, and you just do something real creepy.
One of our movies, the second movie, is actually a horror thriller.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
It's called You Decide.
Perfect time. So Canal Street has been out for over a year already, and I feel like every couple of months something new still seems to happen with it. Like it keeps getting all this new life. So what has this movie meant to you? And
what's up, Chris?
Yeah, Chris Chicago, what up? What has this movie meant to you? And like just to see it keep moving along, like how does that feel?
It's kind of, you know, it's almost symbolic to like kind of how my life is, because you know, Canal Street was a movie that we went out to LA in 2005 to get shot and make, and it took us almost 15, 16 years to get it made, you know, and it just started to kind of take a life of its own. You know, it was in the theaters for a minute, you know, then it's on BET right now still. It was only supposed to be on BET for like 2 months. It's been on this entire time. They keep picking it back up. We're going overseas theatrically, you know, when it's off of BET. So it's just been it's been refreshing for people that didn't get to see it to continually send me messages like I saw it. It blessed me, my family, like, you know, just randomly hear that. It's meant a lot to know that you can create a piece of work and it can continue to bless people while you're on to something else. Like people are watching that movie right now and it's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with God. Like, and that's a beautiful thing.
Right. Oh, I just see who is this? C Ital. I just buried my father yesterday due to COVID, and I would tell my story cinematically. Advice on how you would do that. First of all, sorry to hear that. That's terrible. But
sorry for your loss, really.
So I guess, Ryan, how would you, there's going to be a lot of, I think, instances and stories that are coming out of this, and you're going to see like albums and books, probably TV shows, movies. So you're not going to be alone on this for sure. But I guess just your initial thoughts of coming out of something like this, like just creatively to tell a story.
If you're in touch and strong enough to write about what you're really going through, and I mean, there's nothing better than writing something about something that you know about. Canal Street was something that I knew about. It was something in my backyard. It was something I could talk about, and I knew very vividly. You know, it wasn't anything that I hadn't grown up around and couldn't relate to. I would say find your own unique story within the stories that everybody's going to tell, right? Everybody's going to want to tell the COVID story, but there's something unique about that, you know, about losing your father within the pandemic of it all. There's something that's bittersweet about that, you know, because while everybody is dealing with this issue, you're dealing with the loss of your father, you know, and the pandemic almost takes a back seat to your father, you know. There's when 9/11 happened, and there was a lot of different stories that came out. The stories that really touched it were the stories that kind of dealt with 9/11, but it more dealt with like, this was a husband that was going to work, you know what I mean? It really had to do with the crash, but had everything to do with just that story, you know. We totally recently expected.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great that he did before he tested positive. Yeah, I think just to piggyback off Ryan was saying, like, I live in New York City, so when 9/11 happens, you get all these stories, and obviously, me living in New York City affected me a lot more than it would have even Ryan, because I was here when it happened. I knew people that were in the buildings. I knew people who had crazy stories of their alarm didn't go off that day, and so they missed going to work, and then that happened. I knew a brother and a sister. One worked in one building, the other worked in another, and then the planes hit, and they were told not to leave, which is a crazy thing to think about. Your building gets hit by a plane, and they tell you not to leave. They decided, oh, they would leave. They couldn't get in contact with each other because remember, like, there were cell phones then, but it wasn't like now. And they ran out through the chaos into the street, and they ran right into each other.
Wow.
And they were able to find each other and be together as all of this was unfolding. So, like, you see all these crazy stories like that, just, everyday people. It doesn't have to be like a biography about this amazing, celebrity or superhero. Everyday people have crazy stories all the time that need to be told, whether it's a book, a movie, an interview, down and share to people. So yeah, to round back to your question, I would just say, keep that story alive for as long as you can, and then you see what happens with it. All right, let's see. Anyone else got something? Going through the comments. You got to watch the relief video in his bio. It will send chills down your spine. Go to his bio. It's there. It's there.
Let me ask you, man, what was your first reaction when you saw Relief?
Well, first I was like, when I saw the cover and I saw the artist, I was like, how long is this song? And where's everyone going to fit in? And then, but like you said, when something's like really, when it's a longer song, like, it has to be really good. Like, that there's the verses, the chorus, whatever, it has to captivate you and keep you. So you got a bunch of really good artists on there. It wasn't like a bunch of people that are like, all right, let me just get through this song, everybody brought their thing. And then you add the visual element to it, which I saw the music video with the song before I even heard the song. So I think that helps a lot too, because we're so visual. We don't want to read anything. We don't necessarily want to hear anything. We just kind of want to see it and then be like, okay, it's in here. Now I just go.
Michael Jackson was really good at that.
Yes.
If you remember back in the day, you name a song of Michael Jackson's where you don't see the video when you think of it, like Bad,
right.
Thriller, Off the Wall, like Beat It, Smooth Criminal. What do you think of when you think of Smooth Criminal? You think of him leaning, think of that chord, like, and then it's just like it's just like a revolving door. It's like, okay, now I got to go hear the song. Dang, now I got to go back and listen and go watch the video. And we have a saying in the studio: if we can't see the visual, it's not a song for us. Because we know it's going to go. We know it's going to go to. We're going to go shoot the video for it. So we're in the studio creating the visual, cinematically and sonically.
Yeah.
And Missy's the one who used to talk about that. That's not something I came up with. Missy Elliott used to say it all the time. Like, everything I do, I have to be able to shoot a video for it. And I was like, yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, and you think of Missy Elliott's visuals and everything too. It's just I think that's what carries. You have a really good artist, and then you have like this elite frontier artist that can pull all of this together. Like, as good as a rapper, a singer, a band, as good as they can be, without that amazing visual, sometimes they just fade in the background. And that's what makes Michael Jackson a legend. And he was doing that before anyone was doing it, right? Because it's the 80s, music videos were just kind of coming around, and he was
making many movies.
And he was just like, watch this. I'm just gonna drop a movie on you. And everyone's like, what? Who does this?
You remember waiting at, like, when Bad was about to come out or something, or Jam or whatever? It's like, and you saw the whole countdown, and then the video would start, and you'd be like, yo, you see that Michael Jackson video? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of effect I want to have when I'm creating. because why not?
Yeah. And even thinking of iconic moments, like I just think of when 50 Cent made his introduction and you just see him hang down from the ceiling. Yep. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. But that visual that he just comes down and he's hanging down, you're like, whoa, who is this guy? And he just got that moment. He could have never did anything noteworthy for the rest of his career, but you'll always remember. You'll remember when he came down like that, and that's how he entered hip hop. And it's like that's a moment. It's the moment, like they always say, you have the directors have their signature, like either the zoom or the far shot or you know, the Anderson centric shot. Like everyone has their own method. And in the music video, you have those iconic moments, which I think is so cool. All right, so I think this is appropriate now. Who are some of your creative, well, first we'll go creative cinematic influences. What directors, what filmmakers were you paying attention to that kind of inspired how you do stuff?
John Singleton. Thanks, Rhyan. Thanks for checking out the video, man. John Singleton created Higher Learning. Higher Learning floored me when I watched that movie. That's the movie that made me want to be a filmmaker. P.T. Anderson created a movie called Magnolia. You know, he also did Boogie Nights, and you know, those two directors right there, and Robert Rodriguez are like the people that influenced me the most. Like hands down, those are the three directors. Like I'm looking at it over there on my cabinet over there, like their movies are right there. So it's like they influenced me. You know, Boys in the Hood. You know, like I remember where I was when I saw that. So those are the movies that like influenced me. And if you think about those directors, they were heavily influenced with music, like their soundtracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, or just everything, man. You know, Singleton put Ice Cube on. You know, like those are the things that those are the projects that really inspired me and the directors that influenced me.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that you have something signature that you do in your films yet? Like, do you have a certain shot or a certain setup that you normally do?
You know what? It's more of the storytelling. You know, where the ends of my stories, you don't see them coming. You know, there's certain things where that's right in front of you the whole time, and you think it's going to be one thing and it's something completely different. And we've kind of made that a motif, like throughout the whole, through all of our films. You know, we just kind of figured that out, like really big on dialogue and really big on stories. Okay.
So you got the Shyamalan thing going?
Yeah, the Shyamalan thing going. I guess you could say that.
So what about on the music side?
Man, Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonder, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
You're all over the place.
Dr. Dre. I love I'm gonna say I love Sean Combs in the Puff Daddy era before he was Diddy, and what is he now, Love?
That's new to me. I didn't even know he was Love.
I love what Diddy did with Jodeci and Heavy D, and like that whole uptown, like that was my jam. But I just been an eclectic because my dad growing up, my dad was a DJ, not like a DJ, like a scratch DJ, just like would play a lot of records,
right,
stuff like that. And so I would always just like sneak in and like put the records on and just listen to whatever he had, and whatever he had was like Earth, Wind and Fire and Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, and you know. And then as I got older, my first album I ever bought was Creeping on a Come Up, Bone Thugs and Harmony. That was the first album I ever bought, and I remember listening to Bone. And I'm from Chicago, you know, Midwest all day, and so we were influenced by fast rappers, you know, where cadences was choppy. You know, that's why I messed with Cannon so much. Like Cannon's from Chicago, like, and the flow that Cannon spits is, you can't fake that. You had to grow up on that, you know. And there's so many people that influenced us, you know, from Do or Die, Crucial Conflict, Speeding Out Mobsters, Infamous Syndicate, like all these hip hop Chicago artists. Common Sense before the sense was off.
Yeah.
Before he took the sense off, like
that was my favorite Common.
What'd you say?
That was my favorite Common.
That was your favorite Common?
The early
from New
'90s.
York too.
because he
Like,
has that boom bappy, that New York
yeah.
kind of swag to him.
And man, Common was dope, man. I remember in high school you could buy a Kanye West beat for $500. I remember that. Like I remember those days. Like before Kanye did that song with Shauna and Ludacris, like he did that I forgot the name of the song. That's when he kind of got on. But I remember you could get Ye's beats for nothing. You know, Chicago. I don't think Chicago's got the credit that it deserves when it comes to influencing, artists. Outside of the spitters, there was something else, that sing-songy stuff that kind of came out of the Midwest.
Hmm.
Um, it kind of came out the Midwest, and then people ran with it. You got Nelly. People weren't doing that before Nelly came out. They just weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question. I just went
No,
on a tangent.
that's fine. I was soaking it in. Jarrell, wait, is he a rapper and a video director? Yes, he
Yes.
is, and a bunch of other things that fall under that category in bullet points, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm an artist, bro.
all
I just
around
have fun,
creative,
man.
all around
Yeah,
creative
man.
person. So let me ask you this: I wouldn't, I hate even asking it, but because it reminds me of the Christian rapper versus rapper who's Christian thing, but you're not necessarily a Christian filmmaker. Like you're not like making movies for like pure flicks or like Do You Believe, like those type of movies, or like God's Not Dead. You're more so making films that have your influence of faith in it, right?
So this is how it's funny. I get that question a lot. When I used to like speak, and people used to ask me like, why are some Christian movies so cheesy, right? And I always say, look, you're kind of asking the wrong question. The question to be is, why haven't they made a Christian movie for me, right? Because the body's so big. And a lot of those movies, just for example, have been being made for like the left arm. And so the right arm is like, what's up, man? Like, I'm not from Texas, but, I found God in the streets, but you ain't making nothing for me.
Right.
So I am a Christian filmmaker. I just make movies for people who came to Christ the way I came to Christ,
Yeah.
and I used to scratch my head like, well, I'm not gonna complain because like Pure Flicks, the Erman brothers, even Devon and Bishop Jakes, with their Heaven is for Real, and those movies, they're ministering to a certain part of the body.
It's
I can't
feeding a
get mad
certain
at that
part. Yep.
because they're not gonna be able to go do the movie about the kid from the south side of Chicago, what I mean, who loses his father and still have to try to find faith. They have no business doing that because they don't understand that life. But I'm not gonna go do Heaven is for Real, but we can still coincide and still make movies that uplift the kingdom and edify, right? And
Yeah.
so for me, that's me. So like I am a Christian filmmaker, I am a Christian artist. The stories I tell are for the people that I'm telling them for. And people will either love it or they won't because it might be a little bit too gritty for them. But I didn't come to Christ. It wasn't flowery for me. It was
Yeah.
tough. It was hard. And when I came to Christ, it was even harder. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it sucked. You know what I mean? Like it really did. But it helped me in so many ways. But I wanted to make that movie.
Yeah.
And so I don't shy away from the whole box thing or anything like that. Like I am a Christian filmmaker. I am a Christian artist. This is what I am.
Yeah. And again, it relates back to music. You have a rapper that maybe is just spitting a lot of scripture and is
Yeah.
very biblical in their verses, and that's going to feed like a certain need. That's going to feed people who are Christians already and they kind
Yeah.
of want to be inspired and, emboldened by this. Then you have ones that maybe are making party music or turn up music, but
Yeah.
it's for Christians to have fun or to draw in other people
Right.
that might not be Christians. So they're all needed. They're both needed, and every perspective is needed. And what you're doing is really refreshing because a story like Canal Street really hasn't been told, at least in that way. Like I feel like there's been attempts to tell a story like that, but it never has the grit, that's needed. It's like,
No, and you know what though? It just kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like you have to be able to know that story to tell it, right? You
yeah,
can't fake it.
Yeah, it's like what you think about. You watch all these, like a war movie or a cop show. You know, they're rated G, and you know you're in the foxhole and there's bullets flying around. And you're like, oh darn it, I just got shot. Like no one's talking like that.
Nobody's
No one's
talking
doing
like
that.
that. But you also got to kind of you got to kind of know. That goes back to the dialogue. If you watch Canal Street, there's no cussing in it,
Right,
but
right.
you don't miss it though.
Yeah,
You know,
because
so
there's other elements in it that makes it real, like that brings it to life.
Right.
All right. Do we got any other questions in here?
Let's see words, man. Blessings, man.
Yeah, let's see.
Going enforcement. Yeah, you gotta move. I love that, man. So many jack of all trades in the Christian community. Let's see words, man. Amen.
I just stopped on that one too. Every time I scroll up though, it keeps like bringing me back. Biggest hip hop inspiration, we hit that. What are your goals for the year? I know that probably got a little convoluted.
Pull this out real quick. Charge myself up. What are my goals for the year? Drop this album. Get into working on release these. Start working on these films that we got in the toolbox that we're working on. Stay alive.
Stay alive is a big one. It's a big one right now.
Yeah.
Washing your hands, big goal.
Yep.
It's
easy for me because I'm in the crib by myself. So,
is the movie out yet? Yes, Canal Street is out.
It is out. You can find it on all streaming platforms. You can also, except for Netflix, and it's also playing on BET like every day.
Every day. All right. Let's see. Do we got any other questions? Looking through. If you asked a question already and it wasn't answered, just drop it in again. Just make it easier to see it. What time is it? Let's see. I know we probably have about 10 minutes before this thing runs out. So before we get booted off. So here's your chance to ask questions to Ryan LaMarr.
If I could do a song with any artist, well, who would it be right now? Alicia Keys.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, Alicia Keys.
Throw Alicia Keys up there. All right. What about here's one. Who would be an actor that, like, you're making a movie and it would be your dream actor that it seems almost unobtainable, but you have a chance to get him or her, and work with them?
Denzel.
We need a Ryan LaMarr Denzel matchup.
Yes, putting out there into the universe right now.
Denzel, we know you're watching. We know you're paying attention to Rapzilla lives.
Hey man, you never know. You know,
hit up.
And I am 3 degrees of separation from him. So,
what are your 3 degrees of separation?
Michael T. Williamson, who was in Canal Street, right? Is working with what's his name? Dang it, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was in what's the name of the movie, man? Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington, man. Russell Crowe plays the cop that arrests Denzel. I can't think of the movie right now.
Oh,
something New York, whatever. But he played like the drug kingpin.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Can't think of it right now.
Castle, right? His last name's Castle.
Frank Castle.
American Gangster.
American Gangster.
No, Frank Castle is the Punisher.
It is.
He's is he Frank White?
Something.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying.
I love American Gangster, and I feel like I dropped the ball on that one. I apologize to everybody in this chat.
Thank you. I dropped it too.
Yeah, we both dropped it.
Ty Brazzle is the homie, man. Somebody asked me about Ty Brazzle. Brazzle is the homie. I love the music he's doing. He's got his own lane and he does it well.
Do you think we'll ever see a group like Cross Movement ever again? That's what somebody asked.
Yes, I think it's happening right in front of our own eyes.
Frank Lucas, that is the name. They dropped it in.
There we go.
So Frank Castle is the Punisher.
Yeah.
And I don't know who Frank White is. That's just somebody I made up, I guess. Next character in the next movie. Anybody else? Let's see. All right, here's one. What do you say this, and God forbid, say this goes on for a long time,
Yeah.
where you just, even if you're not having to necessarily quarantine, like you have to keep precautions and social distance and everything. What do you think like the film industry is going to look like? I think you said before, like you maybe do for yourself, you may be doing smaller things, but do you
Oh
think
no, man.
do you think like a smaller budget and like people are getting away with doing TV shows like this, like on a Zoom call, like they're doing American Idol and stuff like that, and it's okay because like this is unprecedented.
We're gonna have to, like, the creatives are gonna shine during this new season, because the people that did the Mission Impossibles and the Fast and Furious and stuff, they're gonna have to figure out another way to create. Because SAG, it's SAG Screen Actors Guild. They're coming up with new laws and new rules right now.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to be tested in quarantine before you can even film something. And
Wow.
so your projects are gonna have to do. You're gonna have to like do projects with like a small cast, small
Right.
crew, and so it's gonna change at least for the next 2 years because everything's backed up.
Right.
So, I got people on, like one of my good friends on Chicago PD. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna finish their episodes because of the mandate in Chicago right now. So it's gonna change a lot of things. I don't know if it's gonna be forever, but I think it's gonna change how we film probably for a long time.
Yeah. Who I watched Chicago PD. Who's the friend? If you can,
Leroyce,
Leroyce. Okay.
yeah, he plays. Oh, he's gonna kick my butt, man.
Is it
Uh,
Atwater?
Atwater, yeah, 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 yeah. Dang, don't tell him I forgot his
Atwater.
character's name.
Atwater. Leroyce. If you're tuning in, yell at Ryan and
Yeah.
and then hit me up because I'd like to talk to you. So we're gonna see Michael Bay films on a phone now. Big budget blockbusters on a
Man, the
phone.
movies weren't made to watch on the phone, man. You know what? That's what I'm missing right now. Going to the movie theater,
Hmm.
listening to the music and the sounds and all that stuff in the theater. Yeah, I think people are gonna get like they're gonna start to get small theaters. It's gonna become more common in their homes.
Yeah. Yeah. True. And it's going to be like anything, like how music kind of disappeared into streaming, and now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you're going to lose probably a lot of theaters, or theaters will only serve the purpose for huge blockbusters whenever that actually happens.
Marvel, and Marvel saved the theater industry
Yeah,
for 10 years because the theaters were going out and then the Marvel movies hit. And then if you notice, the theaters got a little smaller but more reclining, like all that stuff. Like it
yeah, they
just
got nicer.
shifted.
Yep. All right, so we got a couple minutes left. Do you have anything that you want to talk about necessarily, or add that you feel like we didn't
Man,
hit?
look, I'm just blessed, man, to be on this platform. A platform, one of the places that, I mean, Rapzilla is one of the places that actually saved my life. Introduced
I
me
appreciate that.
to my faith. If there wasn't people like you all, I would be in a lot, a completely different space right now,
Yeah.
using my talents, and the gifts that God gave me. And I used to like sit here and watch people on Rapzilla and all that stuff like that, and just I'm humbled that people are appreciating the music that we put out, over at Red Gorilla. I appreciate the films. People appreciating the films that we're doing. Like, I'm still humbled by people like a Relief, to be real with you. It's an idea that came up that we put together and people are loving it and stuff like that. Lets me know we're on the right path, and we hope that it just inspires other people that are watch this or are watching this to not stop doing what they're doing, but make sure to practice patience. Patience is important. It's so important, because you
Hmm.
can rush things and put things out at the wrong time, not have anything to back it up with, and not have anything ready for real. You could think you're ready and you're not, and all that work you put into it just kind of goes to waste because it wasn't ready to go out. And so, for me, I'm all about patience, man. Patience, and make sure God's telling you to do that.
Right. All right. I
And
think
go see Relief. Go check out Relief.
go check out Relief. I've only seen positive reviews for it. Not gassing you up because you're right in front of my face, but it really is a dope music video. And like I said, I've only seen positive reviews. Everybody kills it. Super talented bunch of artists and cinematic. And it's exactly what you need to see right now to kind of get you through that day and give you relief. The album, A Perfect Mess, May 29th. Picking it up on all digital.
Everywhere.
All digital.
Yeah, and we got 2 more videos coming too. I can't mention them, but we're about to drop 2 more videos that are coming. So if you like Relief, then you're gonna like the next one.
All right, everyone, that is Rhyan LaMarr, filmmaker, rapper, producer, writer, man of many hats, currently wearing a hat.
Yeah, because my hair under here is not the business.
Yeah, I've shaved my head like 3 times during this whole thing. My wife does not like it. She accepted this. This was okay.
Man, look, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, appreciate you. Thanks for the time. And if anyone's watching this later, not live, I'll put an article, probably upload this to YouTube. This will be in a couple different places. Everybody stay safe. Remember, check out the video. The album's coming. Watch Canal Street. And that's it. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, man. Thank you, man. God bless you.
All right. Peace. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining in the chat. And yeah, check out Canal Street. Check out Relief. Wait for A Perfect Mess. And keep it locked to Rapzilla. We got a lot more good stuff coming. I will see you all later. Critique Fridays tomorrow. Make sure you tune into that with OB. All right. Peace.